Here I am after so many years, hounded by hatred and trapped by fear. I'm in a box. I've got no place to go. If I follow my mind, I know I'll slaughter my own. Help me, I'm the prisoner. Won't you hear my plea? I need somebody, yeah, to listen to me. I beg you, brothers and sisters, I'm counting on you, yeah. Black babies in the womb, shackled and bound, chained by the caveman, keeps beauty down, smacked on the ass when they're squalling and wet. And to a spineless man who never forgets, never forgets that he's a prisoner. Can't you hear my plea? 'Cause I need somebody, Lord knows, to listen to me. I'm a stranger to my son who wonders why his daddy runs, yeah. Peace, greeting, and welcome to the N.E.P.PC podcast. I'm Brother Frank, and I'm with my brother
Haqq and Frank.
It's good to see the people again. We're not here in the studio performing a podcast. You can catch us in Queensbridge projects with the Transform America, who's always invited us to have a platform to provide for the community in the spirit of the Black Liberation Army and the Black Panther Party. It's very important that we maintain that strong relationship with the community because this is how we carry on the spirit of the political prisoner. Today's episode, we're focused on SUNDIATA ACOLI. It's very important that we do all we can to get this brother home. Before we go into the detail about SUNDIATA, we want to show you this very important piece that is on Democracy Now! So as I retrieve it, talk to the people, and then I'll let you know that it's on. It's ready. All right, brother?
All right, brother. Peace.
Here you go.
4 Black police groups, including the National Association of Blacks in Criminal Justice, are calling for former Black Panther SUNDIATA ACOLI to be released from prison. The 84-year-old activist has been locked up for nearly half a century. ACOLI was convicted of killing a state trooper on the New Jersey Turnpike in 1973. He has long said police ambushed his car, which was also carrying 2 fellow members of the Black Liberation Army, Zaid Malik Shakur, who was shot to death, and Asada Shakur. She was imprisoned over the incident, but later escaped to Cuba, where she has lived with political asylum. The Black police groups say SUNDIATA ACOLI's continued imprisonment after more than 4 decades is, quote, an affront to racial justice. The former U.S.-backed dictator of Chad, Hissène Habré, has died in prison at the age of 79.
Right on.
So if you had the opportunity to see that, there you have it. A very important message from these black officers that they recognize the injustice with SUNDIATA still being incarcerated. There's a very important message out from the coalition to free SUNDIATA ACOLI. And I'm going to read what the card says. This is how the card looks. For those who haven't received one, if you happen to be in the black community or any community that is fighting for injustice, that is standing up against human rights, make sure you have this important card. So it says SUNDIATA ACOLI is 84 years old and has been incarcerated for over 48 years. He has had a perfect disciplinary record for the past 27 years and been denied parole 8 times by the New Jersey Parole Board. He was hospitalized for COVID-19 last year. Our campaign is working to bring him home. This year's Please Join Us. So that right here tells you what's going on, and it's urgent that we get involved, that we don't get relaxed, that we bring this brother home. I wrote him personally. There's a campaign writing going on to write him, get involved, because anywhere you at, you can do something. If you're a part of an organization, make sure that organization takes up the crisis of the political prisoner. It is a national obligation because this is a casualty in the national liberation struggle. Oh, brother, go ahead, man. I don't want to take up more time than I have to explain that.
No, it's all piece. Good. It's all good, brother. SUNDIATA has been incarcerated for 48 years based on the testimony of a police officer. Now, I have experienced being in courtroom when I know what went down during the situation, and police officers have sit on the witness stand and straight up lied and know they lying. And many of our brothers and sisters out there in the listening audience have experienced the same thing. The police call it testifying. So based on the word of one cop who was there when Brother Zaid was murdered, You understand? Sundiata has been in jail 48 years, denied parole 8 times. You know, you know, this raises the urgency of this issue of political prisoners becoming more and more popular. I've noticed in the recent history that the issue of political prisoners is becoming magnified more, you know, than it had been in the past. And, you know, we hope to continue to make this a priority among our people. A priority, those who fought for us, who fought in our self-defense, you understand, who laid everything on the line for us. You know, this is a very, very valuable resource in our community. You know, it's like our gold and our diamonds, rich resources, you know, and Asada Shakur is one of these resources. So I accept her word over that of the cop. Asada say that the police shot first, and the evidence shows that she was shot while her hands was up, you know. So I accept her word of what went down over that of a police officer who was involved in the murder of our brother Zaid Shakur. So, you know, right now I also want to contextualize our struggle for political prisoners in an major upcoming event that is being done by the spirit of Mandela. It's a tribunal by which we put the system on trial. They like to put us on trial, but when revolutionaries go to trial, we put the system on trial. You know, so you know, this is you know, talking about Sundiata today. You know, we put the system on trial that has put him in prison for 48 years and continues to deny him freedom. You know, I attended the trial of Mutulu Shakur. Mutulu Shakur put the system on trial in, you know, stating that he was a prisoner of war. You know, the system do not like to admit that they are at war with us, when indeed they stole 140 million of us from Africa. 88% of them were killed, you know, died during the Middle Passage, or, you know, died through other violent means, you know. And so when people are murdered by violence, that's a war, you know. But they don't want to define it as a war. But it's up to us to define reality. So this tribunal, you know, is much evidence, historical evidence coming up, you know, to arm our people with the reality, you know, and to destroy the myths that's put forth by the system. You know, it highlights the political prisoners' plight, and those human rights activists and civil rights activists, some of them were murdered, you know, and others who were incarcerated for long periods of time. You know, it puts the system on trial. It looks at the genocides that have happened all over the world. You know, so you know, and so we ask the question: how are you going to accept the word and the definition of reality of who our political prisoners are from the biggest mass murderers in the history of the world?
Absolutely. That makes me think about in our previous episode when we talked about, you know, they try to label our political prisoners as terrorists.
Correct.
Right? And we say that they are heroes, they're freedom fighters. Right? We have the right to self-determination, just like any nation has the right to self-determination. So when we observe our political prisoners, our freedom fighters, it's very important that we have to support the cause. We have to get involved. And that's why it's very important that when we bring this idea to the community, we ask them what they think. And that line that's so strong and so important, don't let political prisoners die in prison, we got to take that very serious. For those who are doing the work, make sure you are committed to this work long term. Make sure that you pace yourself, because it's a marathon, not a sprint. And I think about the brother right here we got on the wall, Romaine Fitzgerald, excuse me. God salute him. He died in prison, right? We can't have no more casualties like that. We got to step it up. We got to be more involved. I mean, for parents such as myself and others who are preparing their children for the upcoming school year, have them talk about political prisoners right now, right? Be prepared for when Kwanzaa comes and we start having more input on what's going to be discussed for Kwanzaa. Make sure we talk about political prisoners. Be prepared early to bring up what's going to be talked about for Black History Month in February. Let's get started now. Let's prepare now. Let's make sure that any project that they have when they're talking about politics, that we insert political prisoners into that. And that's why we got to fight strong and hard for political prisoners. We got to bring up SUNDIATA ACOLI's name and let the people know that you have to get involved. You got to take a step. So what you were saying, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but I had to get off that
cool,
on my chest.
I was just talking about the tribunal that is coming up, to put the system of imperialism, colonialism, and capitalism on trial. And there's many witnesses of witness testimony. Like I said, detailed history. I read history of these folks, and straight from the horse's mouth, straight from their mouth. They admit that their strategy is terror. To put terror in the hearts of the oppressed, to take the rights away from the oppressed. Before, I advised the listeners to read the book, The Broken Heart of America. Also read the book, The Second, about the Second Amendment, which verifies that the Second Amendment was to give racist, white supremacist militias the right to bear arms and keep guns and arms and weapons out of the hands of black people. You understand? In order to to rip us off. And all over the world they've gone and ripped off natural resources and stolen labor. You understand? So these type of offenses will be brought to the fore in this tribunal by the spirit of Nelson Mandela. You will see the contact information about the tribunal running across the screen. Also it talks about environmental racism. For example, how nuclear waste is deposited off of the Horn of Africa. These cancer-causing chemicals. Environmental racism. By the same system that produces climate change, by which if we don't stand up and throw this system in the garbage can of history, in 25 to 30 years, there's a possibility that everything that breathes will be dead in 25 to 30 years by climate change, by these mad folks, these crazy people. You understand? In the words of the last poets, you have nothing to say, you just hear and obey, just blindly playing your role where others decide whether you live or die, and mad men man the controls. So we say, take control of your environment, take control of where you live. You understand what I'm saying? And destroy the propaganda, which would turn you away from your real friends, will make you hate your real friends who fought in self-defense. You understand? And love for the masses of our people. You understand? I want to give you an example of what the propaganda aims for us to do. If you read the book, The Master of Falconhurst, it'll show you how the propaganda and the culture of the master, this terrorist, you understand, can turn us, into something unheard of. You understand? There was a slave named Lucretia Borgia, and she used to whoop her two children every morning because they was Niggers. They said they got whoopings every morning because they was Niggers. And these twins, their humanity was so destroyed that they have contests over who could be the biggest Uncle Tom. One of them used to brag that his claim to fame was that he sat under the table like a little pet while the slave master gave him the levers of his plate. That was his claim to fame. And the other one, his pride and joy was that the master used him as a footstool. You understand? The master had rheumatism, and the master used him as a footstool, and he said that he got rheumatism just like the master, and he used to fake walking around acting like he was limping, proud that he was the master's footstool. So this is the type of propaganda. This is the intended results of the propaganda, and part of that is to make you turn against, those who have been our biggest friends, our freedom fighters, our political prisoners. So like I say, the coalition, the spirit of Nelson Mandela, is having this tribunal to bring all these things to the fore. And y'all need to tune it in.
Yes, prepare yourself for that. And I just wanted to add on to what you're saying regarding propaganda and the attack on our right to self-determination. When we talk about the prison industrial complex, and we look at that
Corecraft,
right? We look at that for what it is. We say they try to tell us that it's when I say they, I mean the state try to tell us that that's a correctional facility, right? So my point and our point should be, if that's a correctional facility, then how long does it take for somebody to be corrected? Now, SUNDIATA ACOLI has been incarcerated for over 48 years. According to you, he's supposed to be corrected at some point. And how is he not corrected after all these years?
Yeah. So people in jail all these years.
Exactly.
Right.
They want them to die in prison. They want you to be discouraged to take a position to not be afraid of them. They want to remain on top and keep you under their foot or under their knee. So that's why we got to get involved, and that's why we got to write a political prisoner. If you're a person of faith, Judaism, Islam, or Christianity, hold your congregation, hold the people who come together to worship, to take a position on what is correct, to take a position when it comes to justice. SUNDIATA ACOLI needs the help of all of us. He's 84 years old. What's life expectancy? Right, he exceeded that, right? Because the average life expectancy is what, 72 for men, and
72, right.
So think about that. Think about every moment that we don't participate in this particular work. We're saying that it's okay for the state to kill him. So we have to do our job. We have to get involved. I always tell people, when you're fighting for something that you think is right, or is right, let me not even say think, that is right, then you got to start up with your family. Ask your family to get involved. Ask your family to share or subscribe to a YouTube channel, right? We have a YouTube channel, N.E.P.PC YouTube channel that has all our episodes.
Write that down, y'all. Repeat that, brother.
N.E.P.PC YouTube channel. That's our channel that airs our podcast episode.
Northeast Political Prisoners Coalition.
So get your people to subscribe to that. Start off with your family, have them get involved, get educated on political prisoners, and let's do our job. Nothing is too small, and nothing is too big. So I think we're winding down. We touched on all the points that we came here to touch on.
Yeah, I'm gonna put on these glasses to try to look like I'm an intellectual or something.
Yeah, so
I want to read the intended outcomes and advantages of the tribunal.
Right, and this is from the In Spirit of Mandela postcard.
Mandela, right. Okay. Tribunal outcomes. This is what we hope to produce. Codify and publish the content and results of the tribunal to be offered in high school and university curricula. All right, getting this information out here, putting muscle to it, making it grow, making it strong, putting black power out there. You understand? This is what this is strategically what is trying to be accomplished. Provide organized, accurate information for reparations initiatives and community and human rights work. Strengthen the demand to free all political prisoners and establish a Truth and Reconciliation Commission mechanism to lead to their freedom. All right, so like I said, putting black power in the movement. You understand what I'm saying? There's power in the people. I always remember there's power. The people got power. You understand? So feel that. So feel that energy out there. Energy produces work. So this initiative, you understand, the outcome is to produce this, to magnify the strength of our community. You understand? To make this happen. Provide the foundation for civil action in federal and state courts across the United States. Present a stronger case building upon previous respected human rights initiatives on the international stage. Establish a healthy and viable massive national network of community organizations, activists, clergy, academics, and lawyers concerned with challenging human rights abuses on all levels and enhancing the quality for all people. Okay, like I said before, this is one of the strategic objectives that J. Edgar Hall, you understand, in COINTELPRO said that they're trying to prevent. What I just read, this intended outcome, this is one of the things that J. Edgar Hall in his COINTELPRO plan, you understand, said to prevent. So what they say to prevent, you understand, we say to make happen. Like taught in the art of war, you understand, the highest stage of generalship is to destroy the strategy of the enemy. So this is part of the enemy's strategy to prevent this type of this organizing and network, and establish the foundation to build a people's senate, representative for all 50 states, indigenous tribes, and major regions. Okay, so it says to add your name and organization to attend the monthly tribunal updates and to sign on to one of the tribunal committees. Third Saturday of each month from 12 noon to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Submit your name by emailing spiritofmandela@gmail.com. Okay? So y'all heard that, right? Write that down. Play it back. You understand that address? And, just to tell y'all some of the powerful players, you understand, in this organizing, okay, in the solidarity, in the Spirit of Mandela Tribunal Coordinating Committee, Aisha Muhammad, Jihad Abdul Mumit, my man, Matt Maya, Sekou Odinga, my main man, head of the N.E.P.PC, Aline Weitzman, and Dakwi Kone Siddiqui. Okay, so those are powerful people. That's black power. You understand? Black power putting this system of terrorism and genocide and infanticide on trial. You understand? We just saw infanticide. We just saw in Afghanistan, this murderous system getting beat up, like it did in Vietnam. You understand? They went there to steal $174 trillion metric feet of natural gas, $1 trillion worth of lithium, what makes batteries work, and vast other natural resources. They murdered 174,000 civilians, and the Pentagon said they don't want to talk about the exact number, but there's more than 174,000 civilians they murdered. So this system, we putting this system on trial. This is the system that wants you to abandon your political prisoners, to turn your back on them. Those who show the utmost love for our masses, you understand, for the masses of oppressed people. This is the system going on trial. Spread it, make it big, you understand, and put power in the people, you understand, by giving our people the truth. Tell the truth to the youth. And I want to also mention that there's a crisis in our community of gun violence, and we need our political prisoners on the street you understand, part of the leadership to stop this gun violence, because all of them, when they're within the political prisoners in prison, when there's beef among the inmates, they call on certain political prisoners to resolve the beefs. Like they need to be out here resolving the beefs among us right now. The Black Panther Party, you understand, in California, East Coast, you understand, they attracted gang members and stopped gang members from banging against and killing each other, and to stand up to the system that allegedly had the most powerful military in the world, had atomic bombs, hydrogen bombs, you understand, to stand up against this system, took them away from this gang banging stuff. This is a part of the history, the legacy of the Black Panther Party. So we're saying that these are the people, these are the brothers and sisters that we need among us right now to stop this gun violence. You understand? And they have the culture, the understanding, and the education to do that. Black power, free them all.
Free them all. That's right. Here, we give you the information. The next thing you do, you have to ask. But before we close out, I just want to hit y'all with that very important message from our brother, Killer Mike.
Help people who sacrifice for our freedom. Meaning, every time something happens, I hear this. Why don't the gang bangers jump up and do something for them? Why don't you kill them, you kill each other? And I say to myself, when is the last time you sent money to Assata Shakur? When is the last time you sent money to Matulu Shakur? When is the last time you sent money to Mumia Abu Jamal, or Larry Hoover, or Jeff Ford, or Leonard Peltier? When is the last time you have made it your business to send money to a revolutionary or a hoodlum that has helped us? And until we start to do that, how can we ask these young men to be warriors? Because if they do it in the name of the hood, at least the hood gonna honor their name always. At least the hood gonna make sure at least their children got something, or their mama's house is looked after. As a community, if we're going to ask people to bungee jump for us with no cord, be prepared to take care of them when they get a life sentence. Be prepared to look after their families. See, I don't mind the work get done, but let's take care of the workers. Let's stop asking more out of people than we would do for ourselves. So what I'd like to see, my dream thing, is to see 1 million people from the culture dedicate $10 a month. That's $10 million a month, $120 million a year toward taking care of civil rights leaders who have worked on our behalf and are elderly now and don't have to take care of themselves, like Rosa Parks, whose rent was paid by the owner of Little Caesars Pizza. We should have had a fund to make sure that she never had to worry about that again in her life. We should have a fund that makes sure money makes it to Assata Shakur, and Matulu Shakur has legal representation and food, and Leonard Peltier, who has diabetes in jail, can get insulin taken care of. And until we start doing it, $10 a month is about what you pay on a couple fast food restaurant business. So if 1 million of us do that for the rest of our life, look at how well we'll be taking care of the people that we're asking to sacrifice on our behalf.
I agree, and recently.
There you have it. What's the call?
Free them all.
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 What's the call?
Free them all.